This is how the gods catch fish. When the old man drops his net, a 100 catty fish is caught, but the captured fish is not satisfied. It twisted its body and dragged the two men into the sea. When the two sides were at a standstill, the old man asked his nephew to hold back the fish first. He went to find an axe to kill the fish. After the old man left, the fish begged the man to let it go, because the fish said he had a bunch of little fish to feed. After listening to his plea, the kind man thought of releasing the fish, but then he would be scolded by his uncle. When the man was in a dilemma, his uncle approached him with an axe in his hand. The man could only pretend that he was being dragged into the sea by a big fish. By the time his uncle arrived, the net and the fish inside had already swum far out to sea. Seeing that his hard-earned prey was buried in vain and a fishing net was attached to it, the old man was so angry that he almost fainted. The uncle was so angry that he picked up an axe and threatened to kill the man. The man couldn't understand that he would be killed for no reason because of his kindness. The man ran to a cliff with the sea at his feet. A big fish offered him a ride. The man jumped onto the fish's back. His uncle, who had arrived, could only watch as the man disappeared into the sea. Although he was furious, there was nothing he could do. After leaving the back of the big fish, the man traveled alone to a kingdom deep in the desert. But little did he know that a coiled python had set its sights on him. When the man reached the pillar, the python opened its mouth and threatened to eat him. The man's only choice was to run away from the snake, but the python wouldn't let the food in front of him go to waste. Its body was wriggling and approaching the man. The man knew he couldn't move as fast as the python, so he deliberately lured the snake to a pillar. The man circled around the pillar and easily subdued the python. Seeing that the python was tied to the pillar, the snake was no longer a threat. The man was ready to climb up the hill and leave the area, but there were two baby eagles at the bottom of the hill. Their cries reached the python's ears through the air. The python breaks free of its entanglement and moves quickly to the eaglets. It was about to take a bite. The man picks up a rock from the top of the hill and smashes it against the python. In order to completely eliminate the danger, the man threw another huge rock at the python on the ground. With a scream that pierces the sky, the python suddenly loses its life. Returning from a hunt, the vulture realized that the man had saved his two children. He promised to repay the man's kindness in the future. This feather was the man's token to him. After saying goodbye to the vulture family, the man set off on his wanderings. But no sooner had he entered the forest than he came across 4 firefoxes who asked for his help. Their mother had fallen into a hunter's trap. Driven by his good nature, the man was ready to rescue the foxes. Just as the huntsman arrived on his white horse, just as he was about to swing his dagger at the fox, the man stepped forward to stop him, but the hunter wouldn't listen to him. The man had no choice but to let the hunter's white horse go. The hunter ran after his white horse. After being rescued, the fox saw the man as a lifelong benefactor. He promised to help him if he was ever in trouble. What the man didn't expect, he had no idea that his act of kindness would be the reward for their lives. After leaving the forest, the man set foot in a country surrounded by mountains. Inside the country was a beautiful but vicious princess. Her beauty attracted many suitors, but she also had a magic mirror that could see into everything. Anyone who wants to propose to her must hide. If the mirror finds them, they will be beheaded. Watching innocent people being killed, a kind man decided to punish the princess. He went to the castle alone and pretended to propose to the princess. The princess saw another suitor in the mirror. She thought the man was a lecherous loser like the previous murderer. She told the man to hide and she would use the mirror to find him. After accepting the princess's challenge, the man found the big fish he had saved earlier. He asked the fish to hide him in a place where he wouldn't be found. The fish let him jump into its stomach. It then took the man to the bottom of the sea. The princess took out her magic mirror and looked at the sky and the ground, and she found the man in the belly of the fish at the bottom of the sea. The man was escorted back to the palace by the guards. To convince the man that he had lost, the princess decided to give him 2 more chances. This time he took out the feather that the vulture had given him. The vulture let the man ride on his back and took him to the sky, but the princess was able to find him with her magic mirror. For his last chance, the man found the firefox. He asked the fox to dig a hole and hide him. The fox would not refuse his benefactor's request. It tried its best to dig a tunnel leading to the palace. When the princess took out her magic mirror to search again, even though she searched the sky, the sea and the ground, she still couldn't find the man, because the man was hiding in the ground of the palace. The princess had no choice but to admit defeat on the spot. The man dug through the floor and stood in the palace. The old king agreed to marry his daughter to him, but on the wedding day, the man didn't show up. He sent word that only a devil could match the cruel princess. The princess was furious that she was rejected. She broke the mirror, and without the mirror, the princess could do no more harm.